Hi, this is Didi Sanchez, and this is my YouTube channel, Scrappy Gamer DDS. And today's video is for the Also Inspired collaboration, September 2017. It's a collaboration with many YouTubers, about 13, maybe more of us, and you can see all of their links below in the description. And you can go and check out what they've done for September 2017. So basically, Alicia passes us on an inspiration piece, and she's Call Me Crafty Al, and we take from that piece what we like. We can replicate, we can do pretty much any kind of project that we want, but something that inspires us from that piece. And this month's piece is from the Wild West Paper Arts. It was a Pinterest pin that Alicia found and forwarded on to us. It's a really cute card, and I'm gonna be showing you that card. I actually went to their website. So here's the original pin that she sent to us, and I visited Pinterest and I went inside and I clicked on there to visit the actual original page because I wanted to see a little more depth and detail. And so I was able to see a little close up what this card was all about. And you can easily see that there's a lot of wood grain texture, and of course the famous daisy. A lot of people are using that daisy, and I think it's a Stampin' Up item, and I love that. And it was like, you can tell that this is done by an embossing folder. So what I liked from this was that embossing folder created those ridges, so it gave you the idea of planks. And so that's where I took my inspiration. The idea of wood and planks, and how to create that without an embossing folder and be a little more interesting. So here's a picture of my cards. I wound up making a grand total of 6, and I'm going to go through the entire process, and I'm going to be voiceovering it. It's going to be a little bit choppy, and tiny little bit at the end gets cut off, but you really do get most of what I did in order to kind of replicate this cute little card. I mean, there's a lot of paper piercing kind of going on here, and I hope that you enjoy the process, and I will speeding up some parts of it because this took me about an hour. Okay, so this is my box of goodies. I pretty much keep all of my YouTube design team items, whatever I'm working on, all my ideas, and I just throw them into like an iris case. So here I'm going through the process of showing the camera the card. I had done 2 cards originally, and got my idea going and figuring out what I was going to show you guys. And so I'm just showing you the 2 cards, and then I'm going to show you the different supplies. It's a little weird. I had to get used to getting into the camera, you know, bringing it up there enough. So whatever I could remember to read for you, I mean, if it's really small. But I mean, you know, we all have inks, we all have different kinds of papers and stuff like that. So I'm just showing you that I made 6 cards total. But from the supplies that I'm showing here, you're actually going to be able to make 4. Because just like Alicia, and I think she showed in the last video, I like to maximize. If I'm going to cut a piece of paper, I really want to get the most I can get. So with 2 white cardstocks, 1 green cardstock, and then a 110-pound base, which I'm cutting right now, I'm going to get 2 top folding cards, and then a 110-pound black base card. I'm going to get 2 side folding cards. So I'm going to speed that process up right here. There's no need for you to watch me cut and score and such for card bases. The next thing that I'm going to go into is to cut up the rest of the paper so that I kind of do an assembly line. Here I'm taking the green, so now it's slowed back down so that I can give you some information. Since the green is a layer, there's like grass. I don't know if you could see that in the picture that well. I'm just cutting this into 4, basically directly in half and directly in half again, so it kind of is the same side as the card front. Because I'm going to have it on the bottom portion, this little rectangle is going to do double duty. It's going to do the grass, and it's also going to do the sentiment. With the 2 cards that are white, I'm able to get the liners for the black card bases, so that's what I'm going to cut right now. So again, I'm going to go a little shorter than 4 1/4. I'm going to go 4, and instead of 5 1/2, 5 1/4, so that way you have that little reveal in the card. So these are the inserts for the dark cardstock bases, because you need someplace to write. Okay, so I've cut those, and I'm just going to show you quickly that they fit perfectly in the card bases. The other white cardstock, I'm going to show you how to cut. Well, actually, the other portion of this cardstock, which I'm showing you right now, that's where we're going to stamp all the flowers. So you're going to see that a little later on. And now with this cardstock, you're going to see me go crazy cutting 1,000,000,001, well, not a billion, but a lot of strips. And so here we go. It doesn't have to be any specific width rather. I went anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. I didn't really go slower than that. It's not slower, smaller than that. Remember, I'm trying to mimic planks, or rather fence posts. If you saw my card in the beginning, you really picked up on what it was. So here's all my fence posts. They were all nice white little slivers, and I don't need my trimmer anymore, so I'm going to push that to the side, and we're going to do the work that we need to do on these individual strips. So I'm going to bring some backing paper in, which we're going to need because we're going to be inking, doing a lot of inking right now, stamping rather. So here's the flower that I'm going to be using. Unfortunately, I can't see it either, so I know it's stamping up. I don't remember. I do know that it coordinates with the Pansy Punch, I believe it's called, and I also use that. So here, I'm taking out my supplies, my blocks, and everything else, and my inks, and then I decided to pull the rest of the supplies that I would need, which are my dies to cut out my sentiments. So just going to quickly show you that I think they're called Love now. It's an AC Moore product. It used to be the Nicole's, I think, brand of dies. Anyway, so those are a bunch of sentiments. I'm going to pull 4 later on. So we're going to do our stamping. I want 3 flowers on the white card, 1 flower on the black card. I had doubled up, so I counted up 5, and me and my brilliant math saved that piece of paper and trying to maximize, I decided to do it this way. So this was my second go, because I just made the other cards just out of whatever I had. And so here I'm just showing you that the stamp and the punch coordinate. So I've marked my stamp so that I know how to stamp on the paper, so when I want to use the punch, everything's going to line up perfectly. It's a quick little Stampin' Up! Trick. Most of the demonstrators that I know that when I tell my people, I remind them of those, irregularities in that case. I'm showing you that this is Flirty Flamingo. I think this is the only ink pad title that I actually see. So here I start stamping, and I'm trying to be close to the edge because remember, I have to fit rows of stamps. I'm trying to maximize, right? And of course I go off the paper. So we flip it over because that's what this other side is for, and we continue on, and I make sure that I keep checking that I'm putting that little mark towards the edge, so that I can easily put the stamp image into the punch. So looky, all I get was 8. I said I needed 10, but 8 actually worked out fine. I don't have to double up the flower that's on the black. So here I'm just changing out the stamp because there was a solid base stamp in this set. And now there are 2 or 3, I think there's three other inserts, or 4 other inserts you can put. So I'm doing that, and I'm showing you that I actually took another stamp, and put it over so that I can add a little more depth, color, whatever you want to call it. So it's like an outline. I do it on a few, then I change it up again. I grab another stamp pad, which I forget to show you, and then I do a few more of the stamps, cleaning in between. See, when I sped it up, I did show you, but I just don't know what the names are. And then I do one more final change out and do the centers of a couple more of the flowers, just to have a variety so they're not all the same and they can be a little interesting. Oh, I actually do a 4th one. Anyway, so I'm a mess. So a little woof-woo to dry it off, and now I'm going to use the stamp, as I'm showing you that it perfectly slides in. And this is actually really cool. I like this particular one because if you notice right there, and I know I'm going to speed up in a minute, there you go, that the stamp and the punch perfectly match up, so you don't get that little white border, and I actually like that a lot more than having that white border around it all the time. And so here we go, slowing down. So gonna prepare things. So if you are into making a lot of cards in like a big bunch or big batch, then you kind of do assembly. So I've stamped all the flowers, I stamped all the centers, and now, I'm gonna bling them out. And normally we might put like a gem or two, but these centers of these pansies are kind of big, so, when I was making my card, I was like, I need a little something, 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 some blingy blingy. And me and my wall of washi, I said, hey, I took a piece of washi tape. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this. And maybe there are people out there that have done this before. I'm not original, but I took a piece of washi and I took my half an inch punch, circle punch, and I punched a bunch of centers and I placed them on. So it gave me the bling that was big enough, right? Because now we have these big gems that are like super, super thick, and it's hard to like get them in the card, and they take this bulkiness and like the mailing and all those issues. Well, some sparkly old washi, punch them out, put them in the center. There you go. Nice and flat, perfect for mailing. So if you are into making flowers, and I'm sure a lot of you have done that in the past, you want to add a little life to them. So you see me here just curling them. I know a lot of this is sped up because there's a lot of things that we already know how to do. They don't need that many explanation. I don't think so. If you felt like I needed to explain more, please let me know in the comments, because, I'm still getting back into the swing of this. This is my third video in like over 2 years. I hadn't been doing anything, been so busy. So please, any feedback is greatly appreciated. So I'm setting up right now to do the wood. So here's a stamp. I don't know where this stamp set came from, unfortunately. It was when I first started stamping. I have like this whole crazy system, and I left like all the packaging is gone. And so it has the wood grain, it has knots, it has texture looking. It's really, really a nice wood grain stamp. And so basically I'm just taking that, and I think I use not soft suede or chocolate chip. What am I showing you here? Soft suede. There you go. I have one right. No, two right. And I'm going to stamp on here. And again, forgetting my, just been out of practice, I stamp and it's a wah-wah, no-go. Because it's a photopolymer stamp. And so therefore, we need that little cushion that, like the rubber stamps. So you turn them over, just like we know it's the other side. And I stick a little cushy mat, pierce mat underneath there. You didn't quite see it because it was out of screen, but it's under there now. And so here I'm going to go and stamp every single one of my strips that I cut. So a full sheet of paper cut into these random like sizes. They don't have to be perfectly straight, because think about a wooden fence, old, picket fence, and they don't all kind of match. Some are more weathered than others. So you are just going to stamp your little heart away. You don't have to worry about matching too much. I overlap a little bit. You see right there. There's other times that I'll show you that I have a little white gap. It's all good. In some of the pictures, if you notice, and maybe when you see at the end, you'll see all of them. Some of them have even been, what do you call it? Oh my goodness, I'm losing all my words. Oh my god, inked around the edges. I don't do it to these this time, and I use a little bit more of a darker wood color. So you saw me just cut off some extra white instead of, I tried the first side, messed that up, turned it over, did the second side, messed that up, so I just cut it off. But it's like I said, it's irregularities that make it look more woody, I think. So I was good with it. So here I am just trying to match them up little by little. It gets a little like messy because of the back. That backing paper just gets full of ink. It's ridiculous. So, and I thought I sped this up. And so now I'm thinking maybe I messed up somewhere. So hopefully you'll have some patience and work with me, follow me on this one. And so the picket fence. The picket fence came out of the fact that I don't want dead air. Oh, here's the one where I didn't quite catch it. But I like the planks, like I said, of the, that wood embossing folder. And I know that I have an embossing folder somewhere of wood. Oh, here I go. I sped it up there. I think I wanted to show you a little more detail in terms of the irregularities. And so that plank look gave me the idea of the picket fence. So that was my inspiration. So here we are just getting through all the stamping. And then I moved the stamp around, I don't know if you noticed, in the middle, and then I have some shorter edges so that you can have those little irregularities in a different couple different places. Because we're making 4 cards out of all of these, and so we're not going to need the full length. We don't even need half the length. So what I'm actually going to do is wind up stacking everything together as you see here. And then I'm going to take my Tim Holtz bad boys and cut them in half, and then they go flying. So I need to pick everything up. Let me tell you, this was such a messy project. I had little bits and pieces everywhere every time I felt like I was cleaning up, but it's all good because I got some beautiful cards out of it. So here I am making some space, and so we have some wood, right? But they look like plain old Plano. So I'm just showing you the comparison about the length there. And I am also going to, you saw it, you can see that the tops are, straight. So our picket fences are not like that. So all I did was just cut any old way, a little point. Didn't have to be perfect in the middle. They didn't all have to be in the same spot. I was doing them individually, and then I said, oh, wait a minute. And I just started to do the multiples. So here I'm just speeding up the process. All I did was cut off the little tops, making those little V's, so that way you had the tops of the picket fences and there was some dynamic, right, and the regularity. Now I'm pointing out another detail, which is sometimes these planks, fence posts, have knots or chunks cut out because, that's how wood is. So I took my 1.5 or half an inch and also the little hole puncher one and just cut out pieces. You don't know how hard it is to not be, or rather how hard it is to be random. It's like you're trying to not put it in the same place, but then you feel like you're putting the holes in the same place. Oh my goodness. But you just go through it. Here I stopped because I forgot that I needed some that went straight across, so I needed to stop. So I'm going to pull 4 for the black cards and then another 4 for the white cards. And since I had already cut some of them off, I was like, hopefully I have some long ones because they need to go past the edge of the card. And you'll see why later. To be able to create that fence post and fencing, you need a cross beam. So this is what happens. You get into a rhythm and then it's like, oopsie. So I figured it out, and here I go back to my punching all my knots in. Maybe a little knot crazy, but I wanted some variety. So here I'm just showing all the pieces, getting my assembly kind of going. Here's my next phase, the green grass. It peeks out a little bit between the fence posts. And so I don't need the full length. So what I decided to do was to take the sentiments that I wanted to use, and I pulled 4 different ones because these cards are so cute and plain. Well, they're not plain, but they're very simple, I think, that they can pretty much be used for any occasion. So I have a hello, a thanks, a thinking of you, and a good luck. And so I'm just pulling those off the sheet. And I'm going to cut them out of the green paper. So I'm going to utilize the green paper and I'm going to get, more bang for my buck. So I'm just throwing them there right now, but they pretty much all fit in like about a 2-inch, piece, 2-inch by 4, the 4 1/4 that page is. And so I look for the biggest one, which happens to be the thinking of you. So I'm, comparing them right now. And I decide I'm going to cut my green paper straight down the line, and I'll have enough space to die cut any of my sentiments that I need to. And so I'll put that to the side for now, and I think I put it to the side for now, or did I do? Yeah, no, I did. So I'm just pointing out that there's grass behind there, and so rather it's not just flat grass. No. Got to get my fancy Martha Stewart fringe scissors out. And so you get these tools and you have to find occasions to use them because justifies having them. So I pretty much am just cutting the fringe up on the green. I don't have to go all the way. I just want the tops to be a little fringy, the ones that are peeking out behind the planks or the picket fence. And you don't want them straight. So I just cut a little random jaggedness to it. And I'm going to crunch them up. And then I'm going to speed the rest of this up because, it's the same process 4 times. So the video took me about an hour to shoot. So I needed to cut as much out as I could. So spoiler alert, I got it down to 35 minutes. So you'll be here with me another, I don't know, 15 minutes. Hopefully I haven't lost you. But if you're here, thank you so much. So again, the grass is done, boom, boom, done. I'm just laying this out. I'm just showing you that they all fit. And again, I probably could have sped that up, but I left that little bit in there. And here's my little tool. I saw Mercy Tiara, Tracy Banks, out there, and she was working with this little tiny, I think it was from Cuttlebug Jr. or something. And I was like, oh my God, that's perfect for crops. Of course, they no longer sell it. At least I couldn't find it. But in my travels, in my many visits to Michael's, I came across this guy. It's called a Prism. I believe it's a Spellbinders. And awesome that it's a Spellbinders because you can use a coupon on it. So I got this cute little one, perfect for sentiments. Doesn't take up the whole table. Perfect for videos. And I could just bang out all my sentiments and any little die cuts. I think it's like 2.5 inches across, and I don't have to like kill my arm bringing this monster to the table and having to get all this space. I mean, look, I did it boom boom quick and perfect. So back to the card. I am going to assemble now, so I'm going to start the assembly process. And spoiler alert again, kind of gets cut off, but that's okay. We'll talk about it at the end. It's not a major cutoff. You see all the elements that are there. So I think it was still good because you see how I did this. So I'm trying to show you that I need to attach those planks. And so what I wind up doing is taking some adhesive. In this case, it's Fast Fuse. It's very similar to ATG. It's like very, I don't know, I always say boogery. It's like snaps. It gets hung up in the inside, and so I get one little strip, more or less where the plank across the crossbeam is going to be. And no, I'm not getting fancy and in and out and weaving. I imagine that it would probably look awesome, but I couldn't. So I line up the first plank, and then I'm just placing them. I'm not spacing any particular way. I'm not trying to match the distance between them too much. I move on to the other side. All I want to do is fill this green area with a fence. I go up and down. I adjust the height. On the top side, the bottom is going to be a hot mess. Okay, the glue that's in between those green areas, no worries, because that glue is going to be covered, here we go, by one of the cross planks. Perfect. It covers it so that you can utilize it. It can get your job half done. You cover it, and now you put some glue on the other plank, the other cross beam, which I'm doing right now. You put it on top, and you could put a little wonky, you could put it exactly parallel, whichever you like. But here's the back. All you do is add a little bit more of the glue on the sides to wrap those planks around, give it a little more finish. I don't know, I got a little tired, I guess, and a little low. So here I am. I'm wrapping them around. Boom, done. And then all that raggedness on the bottom, all those extra planks, what's going to happen? Snip, snip, off they go. So it's that simple. I mean, there's no measuring. It's just eyeballing it and just free flowing, and it gives it that natural, very whimsical kind of look. So I'm just showing you that boom, it's done. The only other detail that I don't know if you can see in the pictures, and hopefully you can, is that I have a few brads because these planks don't just float there. They need to be like secured to the fence, and so I'm only adding 4, and I'm putting them on the far ends because the sentiments, those words, I'm going to put in the center. So on the first 2 planks on the left and the first 2 plank on the right, in the first post, I'm going to make some holes, and I'm going to put some nice little brassy colored brads. So I'm assembling this whole fence in grass before putting it to the card, because then once it's to the card, you don't see the back of the brads. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And of course, because I'm videoing, the first brad gives me a heart attack. I'm there like, what is going on? Don't it gotta be that way? So what's gonna happen is I'm going to finally get the brad fixed. I'm gonna fix all 4 brads, and then you will see a part of this video. So I'm giving you a preview that is going to speed up the creation of the other 3 fronts. So that will happen in a minute or so. So the brad goes on. Finally, I do the other side, and basically you're gonna see me attach adhesive. Again, I'm stuck to fast fuse. I considered popping it up, but I was like, I don't know if that's too much bulk. I mean, I'm not putting a lot of adhesive. I'm putting just where the edges are and the bottom. So if there's any kind of bulk in the middle where the planks are and the grass, because I scrunched them down, it might kind of pop itself up and give a little bit of that. So here's the fast view of me just, willy-nilly banging them out and putting them on, and the brads happen to work out a little bit easier on this one. They don't give me so much of a hard time. I think once you get, like, remember where the little bendy thing is, you kind of, you have your muscle memory comes back, and you're able to just put everything the way that it should. So here's the 4th one, da 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 da, and this is where I'm going to town. I'm like, yes, I'm almost done. This is gonna be awesome. And I lay them out, have my 4. I'm good to go, and I'm gonna attach them to the card bases. So you're gonna see me do that now, and then the video is gonna be bad. I don't know. So the words I just separated, because remember I talked about that trash? I kept like, there were pieces everywhere, and then I was like, oh my god, where did my words go? Meanwhile, I have these little green buckets, and I'm holding one in my hand right now because it's right next to my computer to put the die cuts in. But is the green bucket near me? No, it's on the other side of the room. Anyway, so the words are there. I find everything that I need. Contemplating what to put on first. That's actually what's happening here. Like, should I put the words on first, or should I put the other part together first? And I wind up doing the fence to the card first, because I'm going to glue the words on. And if you notice in the pictures in the beginning, you saw all 6. I hope you noticed a little bit of the shine. I wind up glossy accenting the words. So once they're down, you're like, it's kind of green. You don't kind of see them. But actually, with the glossy accents, it kind of like, almost like, well, it makes them shiny, of course, but it almost kind of like bends them a little bit, and they kind of lift. So you get to see, you see them more. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. I'm putting glue on just the edges and the bottom, and then I'm kind of almost, they seem a little long to me, and it's kind of where you see it pop out a little bit. But once you get the edges and you do the flat bottom, the center a little bit bows out. It's so it kind of gets its own little depth. It's kind of interesting, but they do go a little off here and there, and you just do what you normally do when you have some of that overhang. So here again, I'm putting in the insert and crossing my fingers, of course, that it does work. And of course, you're going to see me pull this sucker out a couple times, but it gets in there and it gets the job done. And then I go back to putting the rest of the fronts on. So here we go. See what I'm saying? No, isn't that the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching? So finally, I think part of it is like, it's really hard to see the score marks on dark cardstock sometimes, and so you don't quite see where the mat has to go. So all right, back to work. The goes back on, and here is where I noticed that I may have gone a little crooked when I was creating, and a little too much of a bow. So I'm just gonna have to tackle this in a different way, and It's our usual solve and quick fix. If it hangs over and you want to put it into an envelope and it's not going to be, hand given without an envelope, or maybe included in a gift or something, then we need to cut the edges off. Now, I noticed that, as I was doing that, I was like, oh, I'm cutting off that edge that goes around and wrapped around the plank. But it actually didn't mess with the look of it too much. So it wasn't that big of a deal. So, and I knew that I had enough adhesive on there that, cutting off that wraparound wasn't going to make the card fall apart, because I had the brads as backup and I had the fast fuse that glued the little plank as I wrapped it around, and then the fast fuse that glued the actual whole fence to the card. So that was good. And now I did two black and I did two white. And I actually did it that way because as I was making them, I was going with the black cards, and I had friends here with me cropping, and whoopsie. Then I was like, what do you think? And one of them was like, I don't know, it's too dark. And I was like, okay. So I, went with the design and kept playing with it, and I did it with white. And she preferred the white. I still like the black. She likes the white. So as I was trying to do the math of it all to maximize my cardstock, and the cardstock that I want to maximize is the stuff that I'm going to cut into that made the fence and the flowers and the grass. I could put it on any card base. So I decided to make two in white and two in black. And for some reason, I like the 3 flowers on the white and the 1 flower rather on the black. So I don't know which do you prefer? Which did you like better? Do you like using black card bases or dark card bases? I mean, I think it's not elegant or chic, but I like it. I think that it makes your other colors stand out that much more. I mean, white can do the same thing. All right, here's where it's going to go wrong, ladies. I'm laying out the flowers. All I have to do is attach them. All of a sudden, my camera goes ping, and there's no more video. So basically, here's a shot of my 6 cards. I attached the flowers on different levels with some pop dots, so that 2 were up and 1 was behind on the white cards. And on the black cards, I put it on a pop dot so that it would hang above the fence. I did play with the placement for the words in one of the cards. Here you're going to see the close-ups. You can see the glossy accents. This was an original, as was this one, so you can see the inking around the planks. It does look a little different. Here it's a little more stark. After I did it, I kind of wish that I did do the inking on there, but it's still a really nice card, and I really enjoyed this process. So if you do these cards, I'd love to know if you tried out this technique, if you ever thought about making a fence. Here I'm going to show you the 6 cards one more time just to sign off for this month's Also Inspired collaboration. And again, encourage you to visit the other YouTubers. Their links are below. Okay, so I know that I would appreciate any kind of comments, and again, like I said, I asked a few questions throughout the video, and they're sincere. Leave me any of those answers in the comments below. Give me a like if you like my crazy style. No, I'm just natural. I want to share what I do with you guys, and I hope that you do enjoy it. So until next month, visit me again. Remember, it is the 15th of every month that we go live in the morning, 6 o'clock Central Time. And again, until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.